Jonathan, we are delighted and privileged to have you this morning. Share the word of the Lord with us.
So for the past 2.5 years, I have been a chaplain at an elementary school. And the children were wondering why I'm leaving. And there's this little girl named Jessica. And she has bangs, long brown hair. And her mom always dresses her very nicely, and she's very polite. And she comes up to me, she says, so, you're going to be working in a church, huh? I say, yes. And she is trying to think about her own experience of going to church. Her parents regularly take her and her older brother to church, and she's trying to picture me in that role. So, you're going to be a pastor? Yes, I will. And then her mind is trying to visualize me in that role, and she offers me something to think about. And she says, you're going to have to do a lot of standing, you know. And this is something that, she says it in a way that I should really think twice about this. So today, as I am standing before you, I want to say thank you for letting me be here. And as I stand before you, I wonder what else little Jessica from first grade will learn as she goes about her education in the church. Today's title, Growing to Be Like Christ. At church, we do this. We do this in part through teaching. Christ calls the church together and teaches us. We learn here. And the question is, how do you learn? What do you associate with church? What do you learn at church? And hopefully it'll be a little bit more than what Jessica knows right now. The church teaches. We teach tradition. We teach a vocabulary of the faith. We teach Bible, theology. How do you know about God? Who is God? How did we get separated from God? How is this fixed? And once we know those three questions, we say, all right, what do we do now? Those are the basic questions of theology, and it's what the church teaches. But what will little Jessica learn? Her parents will bring her to church over the coming years, and she'll learn stories about the Old Testament. She'll learn about creation. She'll learn about Adam and Eve, Noah and the flood. She'll learn names like Abraham, Jacob, Joshua, Rebecca, Deborah, David, Hezekiah. And she'll learn about places like Jerusalem, Babylon, Galilee. She'll learn of Jesus and his disciples, how he was crucified and resurrected. She'll learn about Paul on the walk to Emmaus and how he had all these problems with these churches. She will learn the ABCs of the faith. And she might develop some friends at church. She'll hear some children's sermons. She will know the words of the Gloria Patri. She might try to mouth out words to songs like How Great Thou Art, Amazing Grace. And then she'll go into confirmation, and she'll get a deeper understanding of what the church is teaching as her cognitive abilities progress. And all of these things are important for her to know about. It is what binds her to the church. It's what binds us to each other as brothers and sisters in Christ. It is what binds us to the disciples. It's what binds us to the people of the Old Testament, the people of the book. These are hugely critical for us to know about. And today, when we think about, say, Christian education, there are dozens of great books on the subject, and they all describe great teaching methodologies, pedagogies, what the church needs to do, how the church is not doing it, how we're not learning about the polity or some of the stories. But I want to think about, on a more global level, our culture. when we think about this woman who anoints Jesus, she might have something to teach us. Especially when we think about all the demands of our culture, all the pressures, all of the busyness. And when I looked at the stories of this gospel, this woman kind of jumps out at me. An unnamed woman, she's passing time in the house of the leper. She might be the hostess. And they are all some followers of Jesus. Jesus, this leper, they're spending time with each other. There might be a sense of what is about to occur. This is right before Judas, in the Gospel of Mark, right before Judas betrays Jesus. There might be kind of a savoring of time, maybe a little bit of tension in the air. And leading up to that, the disciples had all of this knowledge of Jesus. They had been working with him. They had been seeing Jesus heal people. They had to give up everything that they had to follow Jesus. They knew the ABCs of the faith.